Alright, you and I are about to see a player who has the entire internet questioning reality. His moves are so insane that even the best cheats can't replicate them, let alone normal players. Developers are frozen in shock, and executives are holding emergency meetings while the forums go absolutely nuclear. Is he a god or a monster? Either way, the truth is way more terrifying than any cheating software. While others played a game, this man was surviving a living hell. 10 years ago, Beck Wuhian was trapped inside Reverse Planet because of a bug, living there for a full decade. He was taken to a research center and became test subject 62 of the Transcender Project. High-voltage electric currents were pumped directly through his body, and experimental drugs were forced into his veins. People were treated like scrap metal, and every death was a total nightmare. He watched his companions die one by one right in front of his eyes, leaving him with one goal: survive until the end so he could kill every last enemy without leaving anyone alive. He started planning a desperate escape with the other remaining survivors. But as they crawled toward the exit with their last bit of strength, now watch this part closely, what waited for them wasn't freedom, but a powerful guard dog with a twisted smile who told them this very spot would be their grave. No one expected this ending, but they weren't about to just kneel and wait for the executioner. They scrambled to set their tactics. The others took the front lines while Beck Wuhian provided support from the back. The guards thought these men were just throwing their lives away, making it easy to slaughter them all at once. The battle was pure carnage. Everyone died. Finally, Beck Wuhian strangled the man to death. He screamed and cried like his lungs were being ripped out. Suddenly, things got even weirder. Black shadows started crawling out from the bodies of his fallen brothers. Each shadow was fueled by pure rage. And just like that, he finally broke out of the research center. 10 years passed in a flash. During that decade, he did only one thing: kill. To avenge his loved ones, he harvested souls. Security teams were terrified, their gun barrels glowing red from constant firing. Some cowards tried to flee in the chaos, but Beck Wuhian wasn't letting anyone escape, even though he was growing weary of this never-ending cycle of revenge. The voices of the dead kept urging him to keep the slaughter going. He was falling apart. How much longer could he live like this? Was he doomed to kill until his death? Now, pay attention here. This is the moment he has been waiting over 10 years to see. A special mission popped up: bug fix. Kill the head of the Transcender Project to return to the real world. Beck Wuhian stared at the mission prompt. After 1,000 days of suffering, a way out of this hell finally appeared. The scene shifts to a blonde man kneeling in the dirt, begging for answers. You were one step from glory. Why do this? This coward was the man in charge of the project. At this point, his elite bodyguards were already scattered across the floor like trash. The white-haired man closest to him grabbed him by the collar. You are asking me why. Don't tell me you are really that ignorant after what you did. But the blonde man slapped his hand away. Shut up, Subject 81. I don't talk to things like you, Mr. Beck Wuhian. You reach the realm of transcendence with a human body. You are a true superhuman and the most perfect masterpiece this project ever created. Whatever it is you want, just say the word, and I will give it to you. You and that pile of garbage subjects aren't even on the same level. White mist rose from Beck Wuhian's hand, making his answer clear. No need. The blonde man started panicking. Wait, you fool. Do you think killing me ends this? The organization never lets an enemy survive. They'll hunt your family, your friends, and your colleagues. We will destroy everything you love. Beck Wuhian came here specifically to kill him, so he didn't give a damn about those empty threats. The white-haired man looked disgusted, complaining about the blood splashing. He still had questions for the boss, but Beck Wuhian ends him instantly. He was not even listening to what they were arguing about. His eyes were locked onto the pop-up screen from the very start. Bug fix complete. All missions finished. The reward is now being issued: return to the original world. Beck Wuhian's fingers trembled as he reached for the button. Finally, he could be free. And trust me, you and I aren't ready for this. Countless voices explode in his head asking if he's really forgotten about them. Kill them. Revenge. Don't stop. Stick with me, because Beck Wuhian is about to face a nightmare he can't escape. He had done enough. He was completely drained. Right then, a mysterious white-haired man placed a heavy hand on his shoulder. Beck Wuhian, why are you spacing out? I'm finally heading back to my own world. The white-haired man looked totally baffled. What original world? Weren't you always a part of this place? Tell them I'm sorry. He finally sighed and pressed yes. When his eyes snapped open, he was lying in bed. This was his actual room. He never expected to truly return. He checked his phone. It was the same day he first got pulled into the game. He spent 10 years over there, but not a single second passed here. In the mirror, his scars had vanished. His muscles were gone. Was it just a dream? No. These memories felt far too real. Sua's despair and the director's threats. They couldn't have been a dream. Now pay attention, because the 10 years he spent in that hellscape were definitely real. Suddenly, his phone rang. The name Yongnan felt strangely familiar. Beck Wuhian, why aren't you answering? Did you forget our date? Our date. I'll send the address. You better hurry over. She hung up. Finally, Beck Wuhian remembered everything. She was the classmate who forced him to play Reverse Planet. Without her constant begging, he never would have touched that game. Did she know? He quickly rejected that dark thought. He had to meet her first. Yongnan waved excitedly the moment he entered. It's been forever. This is our first time hanging out since vacation started, right? Want a drink? Beck claimed he was in a bad mood. In reality, he feared what he might do if he lost control. Fine, let's just eat. She pointed at the sizzling pork belly. This was a luxury. Suddenly, she asked if he played Reverse Planet. Didn't you promise the tutorial? I just finished making my character. He was dragged in after the intro, but she barely listened. What? So you haven't even played it at all? You and I both know she has no idea what he suffered. I lived in hell because of you. You promised to stream with me. You're a top player. My stream would blow up with your help. Beck was stunned. He forgot she wanted to be a streamer. He finally understood her persistence, but he never made that promise. You did say you'd come on at least once, didn't you? He was finally home. That night, he researched the game's developers. The Reverse Planet company was based in Silicon Valley. He sighed. Even if he went there, what could he do? They would just call him a madman. What if they were actually involved? He would be walking straight into the lion's den. Rash moves meant danger. He didn't even know his goal anymore. He escaped that hell. It was time to forget everything. This was reality. Beck forced himself to live normally again. He was a student now, meant to enjoy campus life. Is this your reality? Beck whipped his head around. His classmates were just studying quietly. Nothing had happened. Suddenly, shadows consumed everything. The world warped, and voices screamed. Avenge them. Brutal revenge. Trust me, you and I are about to see if he loses control. Beck Wuhian bolted from the classroom, leaving his confused classmates wondering what the hell had suddenly gotten into him. You and I are about to see what happens when a legendary hero is forced back into a normal life. Reflexes kicked in as he grabbed the hand, launching a lethal punch meant for a monster, while his terrified classmate froze in horror. What are you doing? That scream snapped him back, and he quickly pulled his strike. I am so sorry. Everyone could see he was unraveling, but inside, our main character was drowning in a fear he could not even explain. He just wanted silence, but those haunting voices returned. Wuhian, that is enough. Come back. Have you forgotten about us? You must avenge us. Suddenly, Yongnan was there. Wuhian, you look terrible. You have been totally out of it. Seriously, you have been spaced out for days now. What in the world is going on with you? Not wanting her to worry, he faked a smile and said he was fine. Yongnan knew better than to push. If you say so. But if things get bad, tell your Nuna. I will do whatever I can to help you. Those words finally calmed his racing heart. Fine. Let's go in. I was the one who brought these restless spirits back. If this nightmare only ends when they are satisfied, he had to see it through. He approached the game capsule and lay down. He knew that if he kept running, the line between reality and the game would disappear forever. I am going back. This time, I will put an end to everything. Then, a cold, mechanical voice echoed. Welcome to Reverse Planet. Beck Wuhian recognized the scenery instantly. This was the Institute's waiting room. He had entered the game, but the powers from that other world should not have been able to follow him here. He could not understand why he could not return to his previous world after finally deciding to dive back into hell. Was he missing a key condition? Suddenly, a screen popped up asking him to confirm his current character appearance. Pay attention, because even in a tutorial, this guy plays by different rules. He figured the tutorial might lead him back, so he set combat assist to 0. He did not need help crushing enemies. Next up was choosing his first psychic core element to start the journey. In this game, your psychic abilities could be completely reset whenever you wanted. The system required a core element, which you would then strengthen with various sub-elements to design a unique character. Linking everything from the core to the sub-elements was called a build. Since the options were massive, professional leagues even had builders who did nothing but study these combinations. This was his secret to being a superhuman. Core element selection was finally complete. An announcement blared for test subject 48. It looks like the game skips the brutal awakening process entirely. He was fine with that. Nobody wants to relive that kind of trauma unless they are a total masochist. The moment he stepped inside, his heart dropped. He would recognize that monstrosity even if it were burned to ashes and scattered. That is the Etanu, a killing machine built to slaughter subjects in the Transgender Project. It has taken countless lives. Tutorial Mission 01. Your goal is to eliminate the machine using your manifested psychic abilities to fight. You and I can see his rage. Those humiliating memories are all coming back at once. Too many people had died by its hands. Without warning, it teleported and lunged straight for our main character. He rolled his wrists, ready for blood. Whether it was this world or the last, the rules were always trash. Those researchers never did anything but create disgusting monsters. He casually tilted his head, dodging a massive punch. The machine attacked relentlessly, programmed to kill anyone who dared to enter the room. But no matter how fast it moved, Beck Wuhian dodged with ease. He saw an opening and slammed his palm home. The final version of this thing was a nightmare. But this one? It was just an incomplete early model. It was nothing more than a prototype. With one single strike, the machine was blown into scrap metal. The experiment was over. His performance had already shattered the records of any ordinary test subject. Beck Wuhian grew impatient. He wanted to dive into the next experiment immediately to settle the score. Suddenly, a siren screamed. To all victims trapped in the institute, flee immediately with everything you have. It seemed the government had finally decided to intervene. And that is where we leave it. You and I both know the real war is only just beginning. Alright, you and I are diving into a world where every second is a fight for survival, starting with this massive explosion. Beck Wuhian realized he had to move fast. He bolted through the crumbling halls with everything he had left. Once the dust settled, the corridor was a nightmare of rubble. He knew that severed limbs were scattered all over the ground. He spotted a man slumped against a wall, wearing the insignia of the Interdimensional Management Bureau on his uniform. Looks like he's not a threat. You're a victim too, right? The fact that you're still alive means you want to escape, correct? Good. I can help you. With a shaky hand, the man opened a storage unit that looked like a high-tech armory. Take whatever weapon you want from here. And don't forget to take this little radio device with you as well. When you reach the surface, send a signal and the Bureau will send a rescue team. Then, just like that, he died. Beck Wuhian hesitated for a moment before picking his gear. He figured this was just a scripted game event, totally missing the monster creeping up behind him. He eventually grabbed a heavy chain scythe, but his mood was bottoming out. This whole situation felt completely wrong to him. He had zero clue what was actually happening. Meanwhile, a famous streamer named Kong Soil was just logging into the game. She sighed, muttering about how she couldn't believe she was playing a mainstream hit like Reverse Planet for her viewers. Her indie gamer pride was taking a huge hit. Naturally, the chat was absolutely roasting her for the sellout move. At least she admits she's a hipster. You're the one who picked this game. It's a national masterpiece, so stop complaining already. I really don't get it. Did someone put a knife to your throat and force you to play Reverse Planet as punishment? Kong Soil snapped back immediately. Hey, I didn't choose this punishment. You people were the ones who voted for it. Now watch this, she's about to realize that making a deal with her chat was a massive mistake. She always doted on her fans and never broke a promise, no matter how annoying. But her viewers weren't letting her off easy. You always say you'll play a popular game next time, then you pull out another weird indie gem. We've heard this before, Soil. Don't roast her too hard. If she stops streaming those niche games, who's going to find the hidden gems for us? Kong Soil kept her cool and didn't get angry. She just kept moving forward at her own pace for the stream. I'm just finishing my punishment for failing the last challenge, okay? Let's see what Reverse Planet is all about. The chat wasn't stupid. They knew she was just changing the subject. As she started her new character, she went through the standard tutorial setup. She kept her own look and chose fire as her main ability, mostly because it looked flashy and cool on screen. Then came the combat assist system. The game explanation was very clear about how it worked for new players. Combat assist would help with movement, posture, and even psychic usage. Basically, the game helps you fight through every encounter. The higher you set the percentage, the more help you get. It's a system that can be adjusted whenever you want. Her fans immediately started throwing out terrible ideas. 0% assist. Only a true pro plays with 0 assist. Soil. She hesitated. Is it even possible to finish the beginner tutorial without any help? She'd done her homework on this game. You and I both know the stats here. Almost 0% of players choose no assist because the controls are notoriously difficult. People said that playing with no assist feels like trying to control a third arm that doesn't belong to you. It sounded impossible. These fans just wanted to see her embarrass herself on camera for a good laugh. She started acting cute, begging for mercy. Guys, no assist is way too much. But then, a high-stakes mission suddenly popped up. Clear the tutorial with 0 assist for a 500,001 reward. Her entire expression flipped in a heartbeat. Dollar signs filled her eyes as she suddenly got serious. You can only call yourself a real streamer if you take challenges. The fans weren't fooled and started mocking her. One mission pops up and she's suddenly a hardcore gamer? What a sellout. The spirit of capitalism was alive and well. Kong Soil looked like she'd been given a massive shot of adrenaline. I'm going full 0 assist until this tutorial is done. But she regretted those words almost immediately. Guys, am I actually doing this? The second she walked into the room, she was insta-killed by an Edenu. Her face turned bright red with pure, gamer rage. There was no warning. The thing ambushed her from the shadows the moment it spawned. A few fans actually tried to comfort her. Lasting 2 minutes is actually impressive. Even plenty of pros lose to that thing. But Kong Soil wasn't ready to give up. She already had the radio and her weapon. As long as she could just make it out alive, she'd be fine, right? Suddenly, Mission 02 appeared, escape the Institute as a team. The game started searching for nearby players automatically. A 4-person squad is recommended. Her eyes lit up with hope. A team match? That sounds like a plan. If she clears this with a squad, does it still count for the money? You and I are about to find out. Alright, let's see what happens when a newbie matches with a god-tier player. If you knew how the matching worked, you'd know she stands no chance. Sure enough, the system prompts a match failure. Kong Soil is totally stunned. How could it fail? I told you it wouldn't work, but why exactly? Matching only pairs players with the same assist percentage. Since nobody clears the tutorial without help, finding a partner for her is basically impossible. At that point, Kong Soil just wants to quit the mission. But in the very next second, a miracle happens. The team match succeeds. She screams and frantically hits cancel, but it's already far too late. She is about to join a tutorial mission already in progress. It is over. The second she arrives, her jaw drops. Corpses are scattered everywhere in every single direction. She wonders if her eyes are lying to her. Seriously, guys, this does not look like a joke. The stream is losing it too. How could a zero-assist team pull this off? Is this a pro player on a Smurf? More terrifyingly, these enemies were not even killed with guns. Zero-assist players do not even get guns. Kong Soil instantly gets excited about this situation. She is getting a free carry. She needs to find this boss player now as Beck Wuhian takes down more enemies. Suddenly, his eyes lock onto her direction. Kong Soil is sneaking over in a really suspicious way. Before she can even speak, a blood-stained blade is suddenly held right across her eyes. Kong Soil freezes in place before jumping back in pure terror. Beck Wuhian withdraws his blade after realizing she is not an enemy. Sorry, he says, as he turns to leave. Wait, we are teammates, right? Can I come with you? She follows him before he can even answer. My name is Kong Soil. I am a streamer. Oh, right. I am actually live right now. Do you mind the camera? Privacy mode is on, so your face will be totally hidden. Beck Wuhian suddenly stops, making Kong Soil's heart tighten. But then, a voice screams about an escaped test subject needing to be killed. Kill him now, no survivors. Immediately, heavy gunfire erupts all around them. Kong Soil is so terrified that she just curls up on the ground. Now stick with me, because what she sees next is going to change everything we know about this game. Beck Wuhian is actually dodging bullets with pure speed and movement. His actions feel totally unreal as that chain scythe moves like it is alive. A machine gun barrage cannot stop a cold weapon. This completely defies all common sense. The chat is exploding. What kind of monster is this guy? Kong Soil stops caring about her embarrassment and asks if this kind of play is even normal for Reverse Planet. How do you use that weapon without assist? This is way too abnormal. What are we even watching? Does anyone know his ability? His eyes turned white, looking like wind power. Trust me, you and I would not want to meet him in versus mode. The only element that turns your eyes white is the perfect being core. She is stunned. Wait, isn't that the trash element everyone avoids? It makes you unable to use any psychic abilities at all. Perfect being is a core element that the community considers legendary trash for any player. It boosts physical stats but kills your psychic powers. On the official forums, perfect being has long been ranked #1 on the list of elements to avoid. Why would anyone ever create such a garbage skill? In a game about psychic powers, who would choose a build with 0 abilities? Some viewers say they have never seen anyone actually pick perfect being before. One guy tried it and immediately deleted his character. Plus, your eyes turn white. Some guess that in zero assist mode, boosting physical ability might actually be a viable high-level strategy. After all, using psychic powers without assist is nearly impossible. So, dumping all points into the body could work. But Kong Soil still cannot understand any of it. Beck Wuhian is only level 1. How is he pulling off these crazy movements? So, what do you and I think about this mysterious pro? One thing is for sure, the god of death has arrived. Stick with me as the ghosts of the dead keep screaming for blood. Take your revenge, they whisper. Wuhian must be more cruel. Suddenly, a hidden gunman aims right at his head. Kong Soil leaps in front of Beck Wuhian, firing 3 rounds that stop the ambusher cold. The attacker trembles in rage. One tiny mistake just ruined his entire plan as he hits the floor. Kong Soil fires again. The assassin drops dead on the spot. She even stops to blow the smoke off her barrel, making her stream viewership absolutely explode. She looks at Beck Wuhian. Well, that counts as helping, right? That scene drags Beck Wuhian into his memories. He sees a young girl running toward him until Kong Soil breaks the spell. She calls him Mr. Hard Carry, making Wuhian stop. She is worried he might be angry. She admits he did all the hard work while she just leached experience. To her surprise, he tells her she actually helped. You feel that too, right? Everyone in the live chat is falling for this mysterious and handsome guy. Seeing he is chill, she asks if they can run the beginner tutorial together as a team. She promises to do her absolute best to help. He just nods, but he can't stand her calling him that title. Just call me Wuhian, he says. She guesses that's his real name since it is impossible for the system to filter it. Then she asks the big question. Is his core element really the perfect being? Beck Wuhian does not bother lying. He confirms it, and the live stream viewers lose their minds. It really is perfect being. This core element is going to need a serious reevaluation now. Kong Soil is speechless and totally jealous. How could he dodge bullets without even using abilities? He says he does not have any specific games he likes, then suddenly stops. 2 enemies are 20 meters ahead. Kong Soil freezes. She does not have any long-range detection skills. How could he know their exact location from 20 meters away? He tells her to stop overthinking and just follow him. She spots the 2 Adina's robots and jumps. Suddenly, Wuhian remembers his past gaming days. He mentions playing Colosseum a lot. Kong Soil tells him to focus on the danger instead. It is dangerous ahead, she warns. But Wuhian blinks forward instantly, appearing right in front of the deadly machines. One massive kick turns the first Adinas into a heap of broken scrap metal. Back in the day, he was a top-ranked legend. He smashes his fist into the second robot. Don't blink now. This impact is heavy enough to make the entire air vibrate. This is insane. A one-shot kill? Is this really the power of a top Colosseum pro? Kong Soil is still confused, but a viewer explains just how legendary those players are. Back then, if you were a top Colosseum player, professional teams would try to scout you directly into the big leagues. That is how Battler became a star. Kong Soil realizes Battler is the biggest name around. She wonders if Wuhian ever fought him. The thought of that match is pure hype. If Wuhian and Battler fought in a duel, who do you and I think would be more terrifying? After dealing with the robots, Wuhian doesn't slow down. Very soon, they arrive at the exit of the research institute. A rough voice booms out. You actually managed to crawl all the way out here? This man is the security head and the tutorial boss. He is also an old acquaintance that Wuhian remembers well. That arrogant attitude of his has not changed a bit. He tells Wuhian he will be joining his dead friends soon. Looking at him, Wuhian knows this is the final stage. Suddenly, something unbelievable happens. Countless vengeful spirits start crawling out from right behind the oblivious security captain. The man does not even notice the spirits looking like they want to tear him apart alive. The captain launches his attack, screaming that they are not making it out of here alive. Kong Soil opens fire, but every single bullet just bounces off the captain's high-tech barrier. She can't believe it. Only awakened people are supposed to have particle shields like that. The stream confirms it. The security boss is an awakened, making him a total monster. You and I just saw her bullets bounce off. She's forced to retreat as the boss closes in. Alright, you and I are about to see what happens when a streamer meets a monster. Once she realized she was toast, she started yelling for the hard carry. Talk about a legendary attitude flip. That is fine too. Even if it is just a game, that kind of satisfaction feels pretty good. Beck Wuhian lunged forward, and a particle barrier that shrugged off bullets was suddenly smashed to pieces. The security captain went flying through the air, hitting the ground in a massive cloud of dust. Kong Soil was speechless. What kind of monster is this? No way the captain could survive that humiliation. He called him an insect and activated his steel body ability. With a few massive leaps, he charged Beck. I will rip you apart. But Beck Wuhian dodged that lethal blow effortlessly. Now, pay attention, because the captain is about to go full psycho with a high-speed drill arm. Everywhere that drill touched, walls shattered and stone fragments went flying into the air. Beck could not dodge forever. He wound up and slammed a fist into that iron face, shattering his goggles. The captain fell to his knees, coughing as his steel form collapsed. But Beck told him coldly to hold it together. You do not get to die that easily yet. Ghostly spirits screamed in his ear, sounding like a final death sentence. Tear him apart, they cried. The security captain was frozen in terror as he stared at his fate. How does a test subject have this much power? Beck just looked down. I owe it all to you. Kong Soil was just a spectator now, as the system announced the captain's defeat. You and I saw that, right? The viewers are absolutely fuming over this hard carry. Everyone wanted to see the streamer fail, but instead, they got a masterclass. Let's move out. As Beck stepped away, spirits swarmed the captain's corpse, dragging him down into a literal, living hell. Back outside, Kong Soil finally breathed. Mission complete. She actually escaped the Institute alive. Level up. She got 1 psychic point. She asked if they should keep going, but Beck declined. With the stream ending, the chat went wild, roasting her for being so shameless. Ranked number 1 for freeloading. But Kong Soil did not care at all. The solo tutorial mission was technically a success. Today was fun. See you all tomorrow. Beck still had not left, so she asked him to be a regular on her stream. Beck broke a cold sweat. She suggested they push the main story or even do some player versus player together. She promised to work entirely around his busy schedule. She even offered to pay an appearance fee, but Beck refused immediately, leaving her looking pretty disappointed. I understand. She knew she could not convince him, but asked to be friends instead. Then, she prepared to sign off. I hope your progress in Reverse Planet stays this smooth from now on. The tutorial was over, and Beck was left standing alone. But the one thing he wanted did not happen. He still could not go back. He had no idea what kind of storm he just started. Over on the Reverse Spacetime forums, a viral video was accusing him of cheating, but then an even more explosive alert popped up. An anonymous viewer donated 3 million won. How does it feel to be back in reality? The next day, the game developers in the Korean branch were facing a total crisis. They watched footage of Beck beating the boss senseless over and over again. It was completely absurd. No matter how many times they replayed it, nothing made sense. No assists, no weapons, and he still absolutely demolished a top-level security captain. The community was convinced he was a cheater, and they were flooding the company boards for answers. The manager was stressed. Are we sure it is not a cheat? Absolutely sure. They checked every bit of data since his account was created. No tampering found. So what do you and I think? Is he a legend or just a glitch? Alright. You and I are about to see a player whose movements are so insane, they actually break the game. Even the most advanced cheats can't copy this. Even the blonde guy sounds straight up jealous in his tone. If he's not hacking, then this guy is a literal monster. But we can't rule out a new, undetectable cheat. The regional manager nodded grimly. No matter what, they had to start a full-scale investigation into these claims. Meanwhile, at a dessert shop, Beck Wuhian is on a date. He's shocked the whole community is blowing up over him. Beck still can't believe the hype, but his date, Yong-na-an, confirms the whole scene is in total chaos. Players are even starting no-assist challenges just to try and match him. The forums have already labeled him a cheater. To them, it's impossible without hacking. Since nobody else can do it, everyone is convinced he's a total fraud. Yong-na-an admits she was shocked by the video, especially since he used his real name, Beck Wuhian. The stream had privacy filters and he wore a mask, so there was no way she should have recognized him. But he said his name out loud. She knew he was strong, but this was on a whole different level. If someone didn't know his skills, they'd definitely call it cheating. Beck finally starts to see the problem here. Then comes the bombshell. Planet Earth Korea contacted her to verify if he's actually using any illegal cheats. Right then, a message from the streamer Kong Soil arrives on his phone. Beck Wuhian claims the message came through the streamer. Suddenly, Yong-na-an turns into a total gossip-loving bystander. Now here's the part you and I need to watch. The game company itself is stepping in to investigate. Beck Wuhian actually wants to go. This might be his only chance to finally contact the game's high-level developers. If he can lure out a high-ranking official, he might finally get some clues about that mysterious world. He decides to give it a shot. Yong-na-an is even more hyped about the idea than he is. If he wants to keep playing, he needs to clear his name. Nobody wants to be called a cheater forever. Beck doesn't really care since his face wasn't shown. He's hoping nobody will actually recognize him in person. He's still holding on to a tiny bit of hope. But Yong-na-an crushes that dream with one single sentence. Even with a name change, his fighting style is way too unique to hide from the public eye. A playstyle that completely ignores abilities? You won't find a second person like that, even among the pros. Lately, lots of top-tier players try to keep their identities secret, but they always end up getting caught. Their fighting habits reveal everything in the end. It's a good thing he agreed to the test. If he didn't, the streamer Kong Soil would be roasted alive by the internet. Beck is still totally confused. He doesn't see why his actions affect Kong Soil. They aren't even related, but he's totally missing the point. Angry fans don't care about logic. Soon, the hate will move from him straight to her. Beck realized right then that the internet is a truly terrifying place to be caught in. He tells Kong Soil he'll do it. She stares at her phone, unable to believe he actually said yes. If this continues, the entire audience is going to explode when the stream goes live, right? Her previous record was 8,584 viewers. She can't help but giggle with pure excitement. Trust me, you and I are about to see something Reverse Planet has never shown the world before. She posts the official announcement for the cheat clarification stream. 4 days later, Beck logs back into the game. Kong Soil rushes over to greet him. She apologizes, feeling like this whole mess is somehow her fault. She's sorry for the trouble, but Beck tells her he doesn't really care about the drama at all. He asks if she suspects him too. She quickly denies it, remembering how he fought that day. Besides, the so-called evidence against him is pretty weak. She trusts what she saw with her own eyes. But mostly, it was that look in his eyes like he really wanted to kill. That's not a cheat. She realizes she said too much, and plays it off as simple intuition before finally starting the live stream. She greets her fans with a peace sign, apologizing to the massive crowd for keeping them all waiting. The viewers are losing it. They demand an explanation, asking if this is just a stream to sell hacks. Just as she expected, the stream hits 10,000 viewers immediately. The hype is absolutely off the charts. It's clear you and I aren't the only ones dying to see how this cheating controversy ends. You and I are jumping back in with Beck Wuhian, but man, the chat is already a total war zone. A cheater has the guts to stream, some yelled. Others fired back, what happens if he's actually legit? Kong Soil had seen enough. Follow the rules, guys. If this stays toxic, I'm shutting chat down before the verification starts. Beck Wuhian, how do you feel about the hate? He just shrugged. Honestly, it's ridiculous. He couldn't believe people were panicking over this level of play. That one line, it made the viewers explode again. At this level, he basically broke the game and he's acting like it's nothing. Now the cheater is acting smug? Even Kong Soil had to admit the viewers had a point there, calling that just this level was insane. To settle this, they brought in a very special guest. A man stepped onto the screen, but his name tag was the real shocker, it just said Game Master. I am Park Ji-man, head of Planet Earth Korea's operations. The chat went dead silent. This just got real. The devs stepped in to clear him? Now watch closely, this is where the tension truly builds for our main character. This head of operations might hold the key. Baek knew he had to ask some serious questions once this ended. The trio exchanged greetings. Thanks for coming. I'm Kong Soil. And I'm Beck Wuhian, the main character added calmly. G-Man looked him over. So, this is the troublemaker? To be honest, he didn't look like anything special. All right, everyone, G-Man announced. Follow me to the testing site. They entered a high-tech metal training chamber designed for elite combat drills. Like they planned, the real test was starting. This verification meant multiple rounds of intense combat to see if any illegal cheat programs were actually running. Beck Wuhian scanned the room. Even in the other world, he'd never seen anything quite this advanced. Park Ji-man checked in. Ready? Ready. In an instant, a deadly Adenu robot materialized right in front of him. A mid-level Adenu? Is it dangerous? Trust me, this thing makes the tutorial version look like a toy. They went straight for the mid-tier bot. Suddenly, Beck's eyes shifted as he triggered his perfect being mode. The haunting voices of the dead swirled around him once more. Wuhian, I'm so scared. Help us. Avenge me! As the voices faded, G-Man tapped his tablet and signaled the start of the fight. Before the signal even finished, Beck vanished. Now, pay attention, you and I are about to see something impossible. Metal shards suddenly flew everywhere. G-Man scrambled to block his face with the tablet, terrified of the flying debris. The livestream went crazy again. He was literally tearing a mid-tier Adenu apart with his bare hands. This machine could tank a giant hammer, but now, it just looks pitiful against our main character. Beck stood victoriously atop the wreckage, holding a torn-off part. Meanwhile, the detection tablet showed zero signs of cheating. This was pure skill, no cheats, no hacks. The first round was over, but G-Man still didn't have the definitive answer he was looking for. We found no programs, but that was too quick. Can you fight exactly the way we tell you to? To prove he wasn't using an auto-battle bot, Beck had to comply. He had absolutely nothing to hide. An auto-cheat plays for the user, so if he could follow specific, complex commands, that would prove it's all him. G-Man was stunned. He didn't expect the kid to agree to the terms so fast. He laid out the challenge. Use the chain scythe to decapitate 3 mid-tier robots. All at once. Beck just nodded. The faster he agreed, the more nervous the Game Master started to feel. It was an impossible handicap, yet Beck didn't look like he was going to fail even for a second. 3 Edenists spawned in and lunged at him instantly, aiming to end the fight in a single coordinated strike. But before they could land a hit, Beck blinked away. He lashed out, and his chain scythe tasted blood. The robot's heavy frame was sliced clean through. He looked back coldly as the robots shattered behind him. Not a speck of dust touched his clothes. 1 strike kill. Kong Soil was shaking with hype. I knew he was the real deal. That scythe moves like a living creature. Chat went wild. What was that? That weapon is broken. But it's not the weapon that's broken. It's the player. G-Man finally snapped out of his daze, realizing he had all the proof he ever needed. Still, the dev's curiosity won out. You and I need to see where this goes next. Alright, you and I are about to see something impossible. Can one single core element actually take down a top-tier training robot? As the heavy door slides open, red mechanical eyes flicker to life. It is the female version of the deadly Adenu unit. The viewers are shocked. They cannot believe the developers actually brought this monster out for a simple test. The developers are definitely going for the kill here. If he survives this, everyone will have to admit he is basically a human cheat code. This is the final evolved form of Adenu. Across from the machine, Beck Wuhian stands perfectly still, calm as a lake. He remembers this model well. Countless test subjects were slaughtered by its hands. Adenu actually looks cruel, wearing a twisted and hauntingly human expression. Suddenly, Wuhian's killing intent explodes, but the robot is faster. For the first time ever, our main character actually gets hurt. A thin line of blood traces across his cheek, but he is not the type to just take hits and clenches his fist. He weaves through a barrage of punches so fast they create sonic booms, making the very air around them explode. Now watch this part closely because the stakes are insane. If he takes even one hit, it is game over right then and there. As expected, this thing is way stronger than the mid-level models. In my current state, my body just isn't durable enough to handle it. I can't break its armor, and it is ridiculously fast. Fine then, I will just keep striking until its defense finally shatters. The officials are completely stunned, while the viewers think he has finally lost his mind and gone totally insane. None of this makes sense. He would die from a single punch, yet the robot can't even touch him. Park Jim-hyun never imagined someone could go toe-to-toe with an elite robot using only one core element. He looked like he was struggling at first, but now he has reversed the pressure and taken total control. This isn't about what is reasonable anymore. It is just a cold, hard fact standing right before their eyes. Deciding he has seen enough, the official reaches out and taps the command on his screen. In an instant, Edenu vanishes. Wuhian is left standing there, stunned and annoyed because he wasn't done destroying it yet. We have gathered all the data needed for verification. Only then does Wuhian realize why the robot suddenly vanished. Kong Soil immediately demands an answer. What is the result? The chat is blowing up too, everyone asking for the final verdict. There was zero outside interference found. To put it simply, he isn't cheating. Some people just can't accept talent, and I bet you saw the same doubt I did in the comments. Why isn't it cheating? They ask. Kong Soil finally lets out a long breath of relief. I told you he wasn't cheating. Does anyone still have the nerve to doubt him? If the official says it is clean, then there is really nothing left to doubt. Everyone talks about cheat skills, but these are actually the real deal. He isn't cheating. He's just so powerful it looks that way. The verification is over. One final comment from you both? Wuhian just says, good work. Park Jim-hyun smiles, calling today very interesting before ending the live stream right there. Looking at the data, viewership smashed past 100,000, and the fans are clearly still hungry for more. Thanks for letting me join the stream. No, thank you for agreeing to the verification so easily, Wuhian. As he prepares to log out, Wuhian suddenly speaks up and stops him. Wait a second. There is something I have been meaning to ask you about. Any bugs in this game? Like someone being unable to log out? The administrator looks completely baffled. I have never heard of that. A fatal bug like that would have killed this game's global reputation. No answers for Wuhian. With a flash of light, the official logs out. It is finally over. Let's settle your share of the stream revenue soon. Can I call you later? Wuhian doesn't care about the money, but says okay. Little does he know, Kong Soil has a plan. Letting a superstar like him walk away would be a total waste. He is an instant superstar. Do you have anything else you want to say? She stays quiet for now, but you and I both know this isn't the last we'll see of her clever little schemes. All right. You and I are about to see how a simple message kicks off an absolute legend. Checking the pop-up window, Beck Wuhian felt disappointed since he'd earned way less than he expected. Suddenly, Yongnan messaged him to hurry over to the combat prep room, clearly dying for some gossip. She asked how the stream felt, since the forums were exploding and he was officially famous now. Beck Wuhian hated it, as multitasking between the chat window and playing felt completely unnatural to him. He wondered if things would be better if he could just play solo without having to watch the chat. Beck Wuhian didn't know what she was up to when she offered to set everything up. She told him to just try it once, but he really didn't want to be forced into working again. He never wanted to stream, but Yongnan was already deciding it was time for some player versus player action. Player versus player was a core mode in Reverse Planet, right alongside the usual story campaigns. He realized she'd called him to the prep room just for this, and she confirmed it instantly. She acted hurt, asking if he'd really quit the game without playing a single match with her. He felt the game didn't suit him, but as he planned his exit, Yongnan grabbed him tight. Now watch closely, she tells him that the player battles are the game's true essence, not the tutorial. Beck Wuhian realized she was right, since the story mode felt exactly like his previous life. Maybe this mode held new clues, so he listened as she started explaining the rules. First up are duels, which are best of 3 matches in either 1 versus 1 or 2 versus 2 formats. Then there's conflict, a 5 versus 5 team battle with random modes like capture or escort. Today, they were entering survival mode. 100 players drop into different zones to loot gear and kill each other until only one survivor remains in the battle royale. They started with a duo queue, but when she offered him a recommended build, he told her not to bother. He already knew a build, the same one that made him a legendary superhuman in that other world. She assigned his points while he connected, and then they were ready for the military base map. The military base map was famous for being packed with high-tier equipment everywhere. Pro players were everywhere, making it no place for newbies. But Yongnan just wanted to record them. Beck Wuhian gave her a look of disgust and told her to keep her distance. He finally told her she could record if she just calmed down, though he didn't get her excitement. She hit the button, and the screen showed 60 seconds until the drop at Area 1. Yongnan gave a salute and told him to stay alive. Shortly after, Beck Wuhian appeared in a ruined building next to a guy in green who hadn't realized his danger. The guy started talking about rotating for better loot, but Beck Wuhian was already behind him. A second later, flames erupted as Yongnan stared at the screen in total shock. Beck Wuhian gets an instant kill, and you can see how shocked she is by his high-tier skills. Suddenly, the kill feed started blowing up as he took down player after player in a total frenzy. What was he even doing? A player named Slime Monster just dropped with a fatal chest wound. Beck Wuhian figured this area was clear, since he could no longer sense any presence. But as he headed downstairs, he ran straight into a group of 4 players out of nowhere. To him, they were just extra work as he sliced through them like he was chopping vegetables. He finished them all off quickly, looted their gear, and started heading out slowly. Suddenly, Yongnan sent a desperate distress call because she was completely surrounded by enemies. He checked the map and saw she was far away, but he told her he was coming anyway. She was trapped on the 3rd-floor rooftop, while a brutal firefight raged on every floor below. Every floor was an active war zone, but as soon as Beck Wuhian went down, he ran into 2 startled players. They couldn't understand how he was so fast, wondering what the hell was wrong with him. Trust me, you and I know that trying to hold this monster off is a fatal mistake. Alright, you and I are about to see a monster in action as Beck Wuhian casually takes an arm and a life. Tiger Sign is dead. The player next to him just stands there, completely frozen. Like, what even happened? This guy is a physical beast with high agility. Look at that purple-black mist swirling around his hands. He slams the floor, and that mist erupts into a forest of lethal spikes, stretching over 10 meters. As the spikes rush him, Beck Wuhian just takes one massive leap, setting up for a backflip. The moment he touches down, the enemy is already dead. Even in the afterlife, that guy is wondering how Beck predicted everything. With both of them handled, Beck Wuhian does not even pause to breathe. He is already back on the move. Yongnan is still waiting, and soon, another victim appears, some blonde player named by Me Freed Chicken. He finally makes it to the building where Yongnan is hiding. She is shocked he got there so fast, even jokingly asking if he needs her to back him up. Now pay attention, this is where it gets tactical. Beck tells her to stay put while he senses 5 enemies inside. The second he pushes the door open, an ambush is already waiting for him. The guy has this twisted smile as he swings his blade, but Beck is faster. He reacts late but arrives first, snatching the wrist. The man's face drops instantly. Then boom. It is like he just got hit by a truck. One punch, and he is out of the game. But Beck is not even satisfied with that move yet. He needs to be faster. He leaps up the stairs as a flood of kill notifications fills the screen. 4 kills in one go. Yongnan just watches from the roof, thinking this is just bullying newbies. But then she jolts in shock and swings her weapon, an electric-charged blade, without a single moment of hesitation. Beck had already snuck up on her, effortlessly dodging her desperate strike. Suddenly, Yongnan looks like a total demon, standing there with a massive, crackling electric chainsaw. It is Beck's first time seeing this side of her. Honestly, he probably did not even need to come rescue her. She gives an awkward little smile. Hey, it was the only weapon she could find nearby. She quickly changes the subject, asking if he cleared the building while holding that weapon. She is getting cocky now, boldly declaring that from here on out, she is going to carry him. Trust me. You and I saw that coming. They took first place. Then they won 10 more matches straight. Yongnan is literally about to collapse. 10 wins in a row was more than she expected. She is too drained to keep streaming and calls it a day. But the way she looks at Beck has completely shifted. She thought he was a normal student, but he is a humanoid weapon. Now she is determined to drag him into streaming. Beck has no clue. Yongnan starts playing the pity card again. She begs him not to touch the main quests for 2 days, so she can plan their big debut. Beck says he is not interested, plus he was not planning on doing the main story anyway. Yongnan just ignores him and makes the decision herself. Just hear her out first. She promises to prepare everything and hops out of the car before he can refuse, leaving him totally speechless. Beck is disappointed. Even after all that player versus player action, he still has not found any real clues. Meanwhile, Kong Soil is lying on her bed, scrolling through her phone and feeling great. She is browsing the forums where all the trending posts are about her and Beck Wuhian. She is rolling around in bed with excitement. 100,000 viewers. Will she ever see numbers like that again? She wishes she could stream with God Wuhian forever, and regrets not being pushier. But she remembers he was very clear about having zero interest in the streaming life. First things first, she needs to check her earnings and see how much she actually made. Suddenly, her eyes go wide. The next day, she calls Beck out again, laptop in hand. Beck is distracted. She called him out suddenly, so he thought something serious was up. Cold sweat forms on Beck's head. What exactly is he looking at? So yeah, You and I just watched a legend get cornered by a blue cat presentation. She worked all night. Alright, you and I are about to see what happens when a top-tier player gets a pitch he can't refuse. Didn't you say you'd be fine as long as you could just play and not have to talk to anyone? Beck Wuhian doesn't remember saying that, but Yong Na-yeon doesn't give him a second to think. She suggests a variety show format where others watch him play. Wuhian is clearly lost. It's basically a show where a studio cast watches and reacts to footage of other people living their lives. You just play the game, I'll handle the talking, and we can even bring in a pro for commentary. You get 60% and I'll take 40%. It's a solid deal, right? He just says he's not interested. You have no idea how much money is in streaming. Wait, didn't you get paid by Soil today? Only then does Beck Wuhian remember that he actually got an email earlier that morning. Since Yong Na-yeon was rushing him, he hadn't checked it yet. He opens it to find his settlement details. For just one single stream, Kong Soil proactively sent him 6 million won. Yong Na-yeon is green with envy. 6 million? How can you not want to stream after seeing that? Now, pay attention here because this one message is about to turn his entire world upside down. It's from someone called Anonymous Viewer 62, saying it's a pleasure to see him once again. How does it feel being back in reality? I have a special new mission waiting just for you. Let's meet through your live streams from now on. Attached to the message was a massive pile of cash. He'll never forget that number 62. This person knows he came back from that other side. With a name like that, they're clearly treating him like test subject 62. Wuhian jumps to his feet. Who else knows he's back? He looks at Yong Na-yeon and asks if there's a way to track sponsors. She freezes, wondering why he's asking. Normally, privacy rules make it impossible to find out. Beck Wuhian stares intensely at his phone. He can't send private messages, and since the live stream is the only way to talk back, he changes his answer and agrees to the streaming deal right on the spot. He agrees to the streaming deal. The news hits Yong Na-yeon so fast she can't even believe it. She double-checks to make sure he's serious. You better not change your mind later. Cheat God returns August 2nd, 2041 at 7 p.m. You and I need to watch this. The cast includes Cheat God, Zhao, Seong-chil, and Yong Na-yeon. Friday evening is looking beautiful. Gaming geeks everywhere are glued to their monitors, waiting for the moment the legend goes live. Everyone is focused on the collab between Beck Wuhian and the other two, including Yong Na-yeon. Some people recognize her as a solo streamer and a close friend of the legendary Cheat God. People are already ordering fried chicken, just counting down the minutes until the stream starts. 5 minutes before showtime in the studio, Yong Na-yeon is so nervous her hands are shaking. Chaos Seong-chil stays cool and tells her not to worry because they've prepared everything perfectly. Chaos is a pro commentator for Reverse Planet. To lighten the mood, he just laughs it off. I never thought anyone besides Miss Soil would actually be able to get Cheat God to appear. He only agreed because she claimed to be his friend. Now, the countdown to the stream finally begins. She takes a deep breath and puts on her game face. Hello everyone, I'm Yong Na-yeon. I'm so happy to see you. And hello viewers, I'm Chaos Chio. The comments start flying instantly. Where's Cheat God? Hand him over. Fans are already growing restless because they haven't seen the legend at the opening, and sweat is pouring down her face. People are getting impatient since he isn't there for the intro, but the show is just starting. The screen switches to the game where Beck Wuhian has already enabled his privacy protection mode. The chat goes wild. He's here. Ban everyone who said this was just clickbait. As you can see, Cheat God's content will be shown as an observation-style variety show. We'll watch him play while we analyze every move. You're all curious about his style, right? Then let's see it for ourselves. Yong Na-yeon connects to Wuhian's screen. Interdimensional Bureau's announcement. Let's see it together. Alright, you and I are jumping right into a rescue mission that is about to go totally sideways for our main character. The main mission screen flashes. You must rendezvous with the Interdimensional Management Bureau located at the outer edge of the forest while avoiding the guards currently hunting down escaped test subjects. For Beck Wuhian, this entire scenario felt all too familiar. It was exactly like his past. Back in that world, he had already been pushed to his absolute limit just trying to survive and escape. But this time, he refuses to run anymore. The next second, he lets out a thunderous, low shout. That scream instantly draws the attention of the guards, who move in to surround him from 3 different sides. Beck Wuhian did this on purpose to get revenge for the dead. 3 on the ground, 2 in the air, and his hand is already on the chain scythe. He has only one goal: kill them all. This was the final wish of his fallen companions. The 2 enemies raise their machine guns and open fire, but Beck Wuhian dodges while swinging his heavy chains. The chains strike one gun with perfect accuracy. In the first exchange, a cold weapon completely overwhelms a firearm. The guard's pupils shrink in pure terror. A second later, he is swallowed by a massive explosion. Beck Wuhian flashes upward into the sky. The guard actually laughs, thinking he is an idiot for delivering himself so easily. Now, Watch closely, this is where the guards realize they have made a fatal mistake as the chain is already thrown. The chain had already looped around behind them, making a full turn and tying itself into a deadly knot. Beck Wuhian yanks hard with both hands, slamming the two guards into each other on the spot. Using that motion, he swings the chain again, viciously smashing them into the ground until a blood mist bursts out. He drops from the sky to deliver the finishing blow. By now, he has fully entered his perfect being mode. Yongnian's mouth falls open. This is not the type of gameplay he knows at all. Even Chaos Chi is stunned. I have been commentating on this for so long, but I have never seen a style like this zero strategic setup. He just directly lures every enemy to his location. The comment section, however, seems to understand Beck Wuhian's logic. This is the ultimate strategy. He is too lazy to search, so he makes the enemies come to him. Pure common sense. Someone even donates 50,000 won, complaining that perfect being is too broken. Does this core element not even have a cooldown? Yongnan turns to ask Chaos Chi if they think the skill is truly broken. He gives a very clear answer. Absolutely not. Most skills in this game have fixed cooldowns that players must manage. Now, let that sink in for a second. This style does not rely on cooldowns, which makes it look like cheating, even though perfect being only boosts his raw physical stats. It does not increase battle intelligence, and it certainly does not automatically improve his weapon mastery. On top of that, our player is still in no assist mode. You could put it in a very extreme way. If his physical body could keep up, he could fight like this in real life too. Beck Wuhian is the true monster here. Just then, a voice reaches his ears as the encirclement finally closes in around him. 4 black gun barrels are aimed at him. The leader speaks. "We are from the Interdimensional Management Bureau. Drop your weapon and surrender to us immediately." The man's name was Kim Cheol, a team leader from the Interdimensional Management Bureau. This bureau was a government department established specifically to sweep out and deal with dangerous individuals who invaded through portals. Their main job is to detain dangerous intruders and suppress them inside the reversed world of dimensional chaos. Beck Wuhian raises both hands. Director Kim Cheol, wait. At this point in time, he should still only be a team leader. He did not expect to run into him here. Kim Cheol notices his clothes and assumes he is a victim who escaped the institute. He apologizes for being rude and orders everyone to stand down. Beck says it is fine, but mentions the walkie-talkie. Beck Wuhian explains it was a gift from an important person at the institute. Kim Cheol's expression immediately darkens. It seems that person was killed. Team leader Kim Cheol was exactly as Beck Wuhian remembered, very humane. Until your identity is confirmed, please stay at the bureau. We have had cases of institute personnel faking their identities. He then orders his subordinates to withdraw from the area. Being politely invited for tea was something Beck Wuhian was used to, so he did not mind following them. A system prompt sounds. Main mission complete. Level increased and 1 ability point has been gained. The scene shifts to the headquarters of the Interdimensional Management Bureau. And trust me, you and I are just getting started with this legendary revenge story that began the moment he escaped that hellish institute. His past jobs included hits and kidnappings, but usually, he was clearing out monsters in the reverse world. Shady companies would loot the reverse world and leave the mess for him. Once they grabbed the treasure, he was stuck doing the dirty cleanup work. Naturally, this put him right on the Interdimensional Management Bureau's radar. Sometimes they worked together, but other times, they were at each other's throats. They have crossed blades more than a few times in the past. Then, the sharp click of heels echoes from the shadows. "Hello, Beck Wuhian. I am Lee Eugene, an agent with the Interdimensional Management Bureau's Team 1. The stream goes wild the second she appears. She is easily one of the top 3 beauties in this entire roleplay world." Lee Eugene pulls up a chair and gets straight to business. "You have 2 choices now, Mr. Wuhian. Listen carefully. 1, you and I watch him live as a civilian under Bureau protection, but you lose your powers forever. 2, you become an agent for the Bureau. Becoming an agent does not mean you get to jump into action immediately. You'll need training and a full evaluation first." Beck Wuhian stays silent, remembering his past life. He had killed Bureau agents before, and now they want him to join them? Lee Eugene keeps the offer on the table. "So, civilian or agent? What is it going to be?" Beck Wuhian visibly tenses. If he picks civilian, he'll just end up doing dirty work for corporations again. That is a path he does not want. In this dying world, he refuses to be a corporate puppet. Plus, he wants a closer look at the Bureau's inner secrets. He chooses to become an agent. Lee Eugene smiles, clearly satisfied with his answer. "Having you on the team is huge. Corporations have been poaching all the awakened lately, leaving us short on manpower." She is frustrated. Most people cannot say no to a high corporate salary, and she's not just venting. Many regret signing those contracts. These companies are still in their early stages. They lack the experience to train awakened people properly. They won't even take responsibility if an accident happens during training. On the flip side, the Bureau has a long history and a proven system for training talent and conquering the reverse world. They are the experts. But Beck Wuhian is no fool. He knows the truth. Corporate pay is high, but their missions are absolute suicide runs. Back on the other side, many awakened people died working those corporate jobs. Some companies even refused to pay him. They would literally tell him to take their lives because they had no cash. So, he literally cut them open to take his money back. Brutal, but effective. That bloodbath exposed him as an unregistered awakened person. The Bureau spent a very long time hunting him down after that day. And the man leading that hunt? None other than director Kim Chul. Lee Eugene starts his official registration and hands him a black phone. This work phone is his new life now. Now pay attention, because here is where we see him take his first steps as an intern. Once you prove your strength, you'll get a squad assignment. But Lee Eugene clearly has her own special plans for him. She wants Beck Wuhian on her team. He goes along with it, playing the part perfectly. He figures it is for the best. After all, he owes someone a debt from his past life. Despite all their fights, Lee Eugene was the one who warned the innocent victims inside the institute before the chaos started. Because she led the raid, he and his friends actually had a shot at surviving. He has not forgotten that. Let's pause here. Yong Nyan, watching the stream, is absolutely losing her mind over how realistic this is. Wait, isn't this weird? He is talking to these non-player characters way too naturally. It feels too real. In her experience, game characters should not be able to talk like this. She thinks the story changed. Lee Eugene used to be a generic tool character. Now, she is something else entirely, and it is unbelievable. It is fully responsive artificial intelligence. The streamer and the chat are losing it. Reverse Planet is on a whole different level. How is this possible? What exactly is fully responsive artificial intelligence? It means characters that respond naturally to anything you say. Unlike normal games, these characters can actually hold a conversation. You and I saw how much power that takes. Let's dive into why everyone in the industry thinks installing this in an online game is actually impossible. But if they actually pulled that off, why hide it as an Easter egg instead of using it for a massive marketing campaign? It seemed more likely it only triggered under specific conditions, and the main rule was probably playing without assist mode. Since Beck Wuhian was the only one playing that way, he was the only one who saw it. Young Nan looked like someone who had never seen the world before. Beck Wuhian, you absolute legend. Anyway, the forums are going to explode after this, right? Yeah. I wonder what Planet Earth will say in their official statement. Honestly, I'm way too hyped to even think about sleeping. The chemistry between the two of them was totally smooth. Since he is so deep into the story, this stream will attract major whales. We might even score some heavyweight guest stars soon. Sadly, you are saying the scheduled story mode stream ends right here, aren't you? Yes, please look forward to the next one. For now, we are switching to player versus player combat. The viewers protested immediately. You can't leave us hanging. How long are we supposed to wait? Meanwhile, in the combat prep room, Beck Wuhian was ready. He had been waiting for anonymous viewer 62 to show up. He had even given Yongnan instructions. If anyone with that ID donates or leaves a message, tell him right away, no matter what he was doing. Yongnan did not get why, but she still agreed, though he never appeared. Beck Wuhian knew he had to keep the stream going. Now pay attention, because he is about to dive into combat. Today's event is a duel. By the way, this is actually Beck Wuhian's first time in duel mode, starting from the normal league. If you are new, there are 8 ranks: bronze, silver, gold, and all the way up to challenger. To even reach bronze, you need 10 wins in the normal league. Professional players usually take 30 minutes, while regular players need about 2 hours to get those wins. The comment section started roasting themselves. It is over. I'm officially below average at this game. Smurf accounts are everywhere in this game, so luck matters too. Mission: reach bronze in 30 minutes. Reward: 500,001. Young Nan's eyes lit up instantly, and she messaged Beck Wuhian immediately. The first mission is live. Can you pull off 10 straight wins in 30 minutes? Beck Wuhian gave an okay sign. Now this is where it gets interesting. Can Beck Wuhian actually clear this challenge? You and I need to see what happens next. Player versus player duel mode. Solo match found. Sector 6 Residential District. 10 seconds until round 1. Suddenly, Chaos Seong Cheol froze. Beck Wuhian had pulled out a weapon he had never seen. His opponent laughed. A melee-only build? As long as he stayed at a distance, he thought it was a free win. But he underestimated Beck Wuhian. The opponent fired a cold burst skill. But a split second later, a thin red line appeared across his body. Beck Wuhian had already sheathed his blade. The opponent was sliced clean in half. Round 1 over. Winner, Beck Wuhian. Loser, Anonymous. The next match started instantly. Who would have guessed? This anonymous player got matched with Beck Wuhian again. Man, not another smurfing dog. I give up. The guy surrendered on the spot. Match over. Winner, Beck Wuhian. Next match, go. Beck Wuhian swung his sword, and the incoming attack was erased on the spot. The guy barely shouted half of his shadow spear skill before his body was split in two, just like the first victim. All you can say is that Beck Wuhian is too strong. He's practically one-shotting everyone. His next opponent tried a high taekwondo jump, leaving a massive opening. Beck Wuhian was not about to miss. One slash drew the line. Round 4, instant kill. Beck Wuhian kept harvesting opponents. Very soon, he hit 10 straight wins in just 20 minutes. Yongnan and Chaos were stunned. Beck Wuhian jumped straight from normal to bronze rank. Yongnan was even stumbling over her words. She was diamond rank, but compared to him, she looked like a beginner. Even Chaos was shocked by 10 wins in 20 minutes. The chat had one word: GOAT. The time was crazy, but his consistency was even more terrifying to watch. Usually, if you hit a counter build, your performance drops. But Beck Wuhian does not seem to care. So what do you and I take from this? When you are this good, build types do not even matter. Absolute dominance. Stick with me, we're watching this man steamroll everyone. A user named Pine Cone even donated 500,001 currency. Yang Nayan immediately gets excited when she sees that donation. Thank you, Pine Cone, for the support. What rank gameplay is coming next? She's hyped, and honestly, so am I. But she's also worried since this whole thing is going out live. I know what you're thinking, stream sniping is a huge risk. Beck Wuhian is worried too, but the odds of someone actually catching him are low. He hopes he's just overthinking things, but right as he finishes speaking, a match pop-up slams onto the screen. PvP duel match found. Area 11, the public cemetery. When the opponent appears, Beck Wuhian pauses for just a second. This blonde guy starts screaming insults immediately. You shameless cheating bastard, I finally caught you. Now listen up. I'm going to personally teach you a lesson. Beck Wuhian just grips his sword hilt while Shang-Chi smirks. Beck Wuhian doesn't bite on the provocation. Yang Nayan follows up immediately. She already told him a long time ago. If he runs into trolls, just ignore them. Round 1 begins. The opponent immediately unleashes elemental power, electricity crackling wildly all over his body. He blurs toward Beck Wuhian, leaving a golden lightning trail behind. But his punch? Beck Wuhian dodges it like it's nothing. Not a single hit. Beck Wuhian draws his blade and makes one single clean swing. A flash of sword light tears right across the blonde man's stomach. Round 1 is over. Winner, Beck Wuhian. Even while he's hitting the floor, that blonde guy won't shut his mouth. You cheating freak. Now, pay attention here, because round 2 is starting after a quick 10-second break. The blonde guy's face turns ugly. If this keeps up, he's going to lose again and be humiliated beyond belief. He realizes he has no choice but to use that. As round 2 begins, he explodes with that golden electricity once again. Beck Wuhian looks slightly surprised. He can feel the air getting sharper and heavier than it was before. This time, the blonde guy has actually improved his game. The efficiency of his movement is terrifying, almost matching Adinu. But his attacks are still completely meaningless. He can't even touch the hem of Beck Wuhian's clothes. The blonde guy's face twists. Now you see it, right? You're just cheating trash. I was only going easy on you during that first round. Suddenly, countless punches rain down on Beck Wuhian, beating him like he's a literal punching bag. Beck Wuhian's heart sinks. That feeling from before wasn't wrong. So, this is what they meant by cheating. He remembers Yang Nayan's warning. If someone calls you a cheater to provoke you on purpose, you crush them as thoroughly as humanly possible. The next second, Beck Wuhian enters perfect being mode. His killing intent suffocates the area, and the blonde guy breaks into a sweat. What's going on here? Why did the whole atmosphere suddenly flip like that? But he forces himself not to panic. He thinks he still has the absolute advantage, so he charges straight in. Stop pretending, you cheater. But in a blink, Beck Wuhian vanishes, swings his sword, and passes right through him. The blonde man coughs up a mouthful of blood. In that same instant, Beck Wuhian is already standing right beside him. A single sword strike comes down and completely disables one of his arms. The man screams, gritting his teeth while raising his other fist. But Beck Wuhian just lifts his sword and slices clean through the hand he's trying to punch with. The blonde guy completely breaks down. Both his arms are ruined. How is he even supposed to fight back now? You and I can see the hosts are speechless. It looks like he's avoiding the final blow on purpose, despite having every opening. It definitely looks that way. Godlike play. And he's also following Miss Nayan's advice to a T. Yang Nayan feels a bit uneasy hearing that. I really did tell him to crush the guy completely. The live stream explodes too. The monster Yang Nayan created. What a terrifying woman. What advice will she give next? I'm actually dying to see it. The blonde man is paralyzed with fear now. Who are you? Beck Wuhian points his sword. I'm just giving your words back to you. After saying that, he delivers a swift, mercy finish. And with that, round 2 is officially over. After that, Beck Wuhian moves forward with unstoppable momentum, winning match after match until he hits 30 straight wins. The hosts are stunned. He's already climbed to gold rank. Getting 30 wins on a debut stream is insane. You and I are witnessing legendary smurfing. What did he even eat to turn into this? Please tell me. Young Nayan can't answer. As for sharing the build, most people are very protective of that. Should I even ask him? She immediately sends Beck Wuhian a message. Can we make this build public? If it's a problem, feel free to say no. Alright, you and I are about to witness something legendary because Beck Wuhian just agreed to reveal his top secret build. I will get it all ready once the stream ends and post it to the community page. Fans were absolutely losing their minds. I only asked as a joke, but he is actually doing it. This is insane. Aren't builds supposed to be top secret? This just proves Beck Wuhian has zero fear of anyone copying him. After that, Young Nayan and Chaos Seong Chil gave a deep bow. Thanks for watching. Everyone, see you next time. Once the stream cut, Chaos Chil was buzzing. This is going to be massive. A perfect AI. 30 straight wins. And now the build? The gaming forums are about to absolutely melt down. Is he really going to shatter the world record? Yongyan could already see the dollar signs in her eyes. Currently, the record sits at 76 straight wins, set by a player named Battler while he was leveling a smurf. Either way, I am rooting for Wuhian to break it. If anyone can do it, it is him. Plus, a beast like Battler is definitely watching Beck Wuhian right now. Things were playing out exactly as planned. The forums went wild. First up, that blonde cheater got caught and slapped with a permanent ban immediately. Then another post went viral. Even if Battler shows up, he is still going to lose. Now watch this. The man himself, Battler, sees the post and just smiles. Talk about a hype moment. Fast forward a few days to the second stream. Anonymous viewer 62 was missing. Beck Wuhian started to wonder why. Was there still some hidden condition? Suddenly, Lee Yujin waved him over. Even in the freezing cold, her outfit was distracting. No wonder she is one of Reverse Planet's top 3 idols. That face is just a cheat code. So, aren't you nervous about your first real combat mission? But anyone who knows our boy knows she is asking the wrong guy. Real combat came early, but to him, light work. The second he logged in, a new mission window flashed before him. First field mission assigned. Gear up and meet at the designated location for immediate deployment. Honestly, this suited him perfectly. No boring training, just straight to the action. But what was the objective? Lee Yujin laid it out. Clear the invaders from Reverse Planet and seal the rift for good. Reports said this place was exposed, mostly due to a mess left behind by a greedy corporation. These companies usually just watch and wait. If there is no profit, they trash the site and bail. Lee Yujin was visibly disgusted by their greed. She hated these profit-first corporations with a passion. Wuhian felt the same. Corporate snakes are the same everywhere. Luckily, the insect-type invaders had a low threat level. Individually, they were weak, but their numbers? Absolutely terrifying. That made them a total nightmare to deal with. As they reached the entrance, a soldier snapped a salute. Sergeant Park Jian here. Are you two the Awakened from the Interdimensional Management Bureau? Lee Yujin flashed her identification. Good work, Sergeant. Identity confirmed, we are heading in. The soldiers were hyped. It was not every day they found a portal in some dusty, abandoned factory. Now, let's pause here, because Beck Wuhian realizes this abandoned factory looks way too familiar to be a coincidence. But back then, it was not a small rift, it was medium scale. Was the intelligence totally wrong? Before they could step in, a smug voice cut through. Senior Yujin, doing a small-scale sweep? How cute. This arrogant prick was Choi Hyang Chil, an Awakened working for Junction Electronics. Yujin was stunned. What are you doing here? He just laughed, saying their mission points happened to overlap. It was clear she could not stand him. They had abandoned this place before, so coming back now meant they were definitely up to something shady. He turned to inspect Beck Wuhian. Is this the new rookie? He even got uncomfortably close to the guy. Do not waste your life at the Bureau. Why not join a corporation instead? Yujin nearly lost it. Mr. Choi, watch your mouth and back off. He just threw his hands up dramatically. So scary. Fine, I will leave this side to you, senior. Good luck with the cleanup. Wuhian asked who the jerk was. Yujin sighed, rubbing her temples. He was the very first trainee I mentored. You and I can tell this is personal. After being poached, he started trashing the Bureau's reputation. Unreal, right? Want one? Alright, you and I are diving into chaos, where the developers are finally explaining the deep history between Lee Yujun and Cho Hyang. This is a total first, right? Honestly, it is my first time seeing the story go this deep into their past too. Usually, the game just brushes past the drama, but this fully responsive AI is taking the plot to a whole new level. The viewers are even more hyped, knowing that if this triggers a hidden story, it would be absolutely incredible. With the Planet Earth style, there is definitely a secret buried here. Lee Yujin suppresses her emotions and shuts the conversation down. Let's move. Beck Wuhian nods as they step forward, right when an energy spike sweeps past, and Cho Hyang's group senses it. He licks his lips. Time for us to start working too. Beck Wuhian and Li Yujun step through the first portal and immediately find themselves facing the second gateway. Li says this path leads into the reverse world. Once they cross the far door, they are in. I see. But pay attention here, things go south fast. The portal glitches out, and Beck senses some serious outside interference. Li Yujun spins around and screams for him to watch out, but in a flash, she completely vanishes. Beck Wuhian is dumped deep into a dark forest, realizing the glitch has completely separated him from his partner. He does not panic, though. In this world, passages collapsing after an outside attack is just a common hazard. He grips his dagger as a swarm of spiders surrounds him. First, clear the bugs, then find Li Yujun. On the other side, Li Yujun finally reveals her true ability as golden electricity surges through her palms. With one brutal downward swing, lightning erupts across the ground, fried spiders flying in every direction. Their bodies are shattered by the lightning, turning the whole swarm into roasted spiders on the spot. But Li is not doing so hot either. That massive strike consumed a huge amount of her energy. Even worse, there are just too many spiders to kill, and something about this forest feels completely wrong. This place feels more like a medium-tier reversed world. Yeah, something is definitely broken with this entire mission. She catches her breath, hoping Beck is safe, totally unaware that Cho Hyang is already ghosting behind her. Li is caught off guard. Cho Hyang lands a vicious sneak attack, his blade cutting deep into her abdomen. Li groans in pain, swinging a lightning blade back to retaliate, but Cho is already gone, dodging the strike. She cannot wrap her head around it. Why would he risk everything just to take her out right now? You and I both see his true colors now. Cho laughs, saying it is just business and to not take it personal. Right after that, his accomplices step out from the shadows. Li knows there is no time for useless talk. The wound is bad. She needs to disengage immediately or she is dead. Picking a direction, she hurls a guardian stone. The moment the stone nears the target, it expands into a massive boulder, slamming down with a thunderous boom. The stone explodes into shards, sending the unlucky accomplice flying while he coughs up blood on the spot. Li Yujun seizes the chance to bolt past him, but Cho Hyang is here to kill her, so he won't let her go easily. She takes off like a horse freed from its reins, instantly widening the gap between her and the killers. She presses her hands together to activate her power, condensing golden light into a lethal thunder spear. She turns and hurls the thunder spear at Cho Hyang and his two cronies, forcing all three to stop and defend. Cho Hyang is absolutely livid, turning on his own men and calling them nothing but useless trash. If you won't stop her, what the hell are you doing? Li takes the chance to flee while searching for a hiding spot, eventually finding a small hole. As Cho Hyang and his group give chase, they suddenly realize their target has completely vanished. Cho is fuming, blaming his team for the slip-up, but Li Yujun is actually hiding right behind them. She crawls out once they are gone, thanking her luck that falling into a centipede nest actually saved her. A secret mission, huh? What exactly are these massive corporations plotting behind everyone's backs at this point? Meanwhile, Beck Wuhian is slaughtering every monster in his path. The chat loves his style, it is all instant kills. He has already cut down dozens of them as he finally reaches the area where Li Yujun was attacked. He can clearly smell her presence here, but the chaotic footprints tell him something bad has happened. Suddenly, he hears her voice. Beck does not hesitate, accelerating through the dense forest at a full sprint. When he arrives, he finds Li Yujun entangled by a giant centipede, and even the chat is terrified for her. Beck enters perfect being mode, and trust me, you and I are about to see something insane. Alright, stick with me because you are about to see some insane combat skills. He leaps high, bracing his dagger handle with his palm as he brushes past that massive centipede. Just like that, the monster is clean off. Li Yujun falls, but Beck Wuhian is already there. He catches her in a smooth princess carry, his movements looking like a perfectly rehearsed dance. He gently sets her down against a large tree and asks in a low, worried voice, "Are you okay?" He just cannot understand it. With her level of power, there is no way some low-level bug should have wounded her this badly. He takes one look and immediately realizes the truth. This damage came from an awakened ability, and there is only one awakened person cruel enough to do this, Choi Ha-young. Somehow, that bastard must have entered the scene immediately after the anomaly began. Watching the stream, Yong Na-an is blushing for some reason, but she also feels a strange tightness in her chest. This is weird, right? Choi Ha-yang was not supposed to make his move until way later in the story. The chat is losing it too. Logically, he should not show up until the 000 Corporation arc. Why the hell is he here so early? Yong Na-an suspects the AI is actually changing the script in real time. Chaos cannot think of any other explanation. At this stage, it is just a guess. But this hidden storyline makes things much more interesting. As we keep watching, Li Yujun gasps for air while explaining what went down after they entered. She managed to lose them for now, but she is terrified of another ambush coming from the shadows. Using her powers would give away her location. She begs her junior to run first, but Beck Wuhian is not the type to abandon anyone. He tells her to perform emergency treatment and hide. He is going to hunt down that group and finish this himself. Li Ujun's face pales instantly. No way. Choi Ha-yang is a veteran awakened warrior. You are going alone? But Beck Wuhian just tells her he has got a plan. Meanwhile, Choi Ha-yang is pacing by the river, furious that they still have not found Li Ujun's hiding spot. He makes a call on the spot. With that injury, she is trapped. Search every inch of this canyon. Now watch this part closely, because just as he is heading down to find his target, he is caught off guard. Without a second thought, he unleashes his flames, but Beck Wuhian is already breaking into a cold sweat. Wait, you are Li Ujun Jr. Raising his hands, Beck Wuhian stammers out 3 words. I am saved. He was even stammering. He claims the tunnel collapsed and he lost his senior. He is totally faking it. The viewers are absolutely dying of laughter. This acting is legendary. Choi Ha-yang, buddy, rest in peace. Choi Ha-yang puts on a fake, gentle face and pats the kid's shoulder. You really do not know anything, do you? Just go to sleep. When you wake up, you will see her. He gives a sickening smile as his hand glows with blood-red energy. But Beck Wuhian strikes first, leaving Choi Ha-yang frozen in total shock. You bastard. He never expected someone else could be a better actor than he is. Let's be real. You and I both know there is no defending against a sneak attack that clean. Choi Ha-yang clutches his chest and drops to his knees. His accomplices are stunned. What just happened? The second he lands the hit, Beck Wuhian vanishes into the woods. The masked man panics and orders his partner to give chase. The other thug immediately sprints off, staying low to the ground like a predator. He is searching everywhere, but he does not realize Beck Wuhian is literally right above him, pressed flat against a massive branch. The man keeps running, getting frustrated. There is no way the kid could have gotten this far. Where the hell is he? Suddenly, Beck Wuhian materialized directly behind him. Before he can react, a dagger is at his throat like a ghost. Back at the camp, the masked man is treating Choi Ha-yang. Hang in there, the bleeding stopped. We will treat you outside. But he could not be more wrong. The moment he finishes speaking, a dagger whistles past his ear and plunges straight into Choi Ha-yang's heart. The masked man screams in rage. You lunatic! Now that he is alone, Beck Wuhian steps into the light. Gritting his teeth, the masked man demands to know where his partner went. Beck Wuhian does not say a word. He just raises the two-handed sword in his hand as his answer. The masked man recognizes it instantly. That is his friend's sword. Pure rage and fear explode as he activates his power. You and I are about to see if he survives this. Bastard. Alright, you and I are jumping into a deathmatch where earth spikes rain down like a storm, and Beck Wuhian scrambles to survive. He barely evaded the onslaught, scrambling with everything he had to stay alive. The masked attacker was lost to bloodlust, pushing his powers to the limit. He slammed his palms down, causing the entire ground to surge like violent ocean waves. This was his lethal trump card, Earthwave. Beck Wuhian sprinted forward, facing the enemy's crushing pressure head-on. He chopped down a massive tree, using the heavy trunk as a temporary shield to block the impact. Seeing Beck Wuhian still standing, the masked man cursed in total disbelief. This guy is a complete monster. But he had one last trick. Rockhorn, activate. A jagged stone pillar suddenly erupted right under Beck Wuhian's feet. It was way too fast. Beck Wuhian twisted his body with raw force, but he was still a fraction late. For the first time, he bled. The splintered tree trunk grazed his arm, leaving a deep and painful gash. A second later, he charged straight at the masked man, but this opponent was no weakling either. Now watch this. He unleashes a wall of stone spikes, screaming for Beck Wuhian to stay back. With a single, blinding sweep of his sword, every stone spike was instantly shredded into tiny fragments. Before the flash faded, Beck Wuhian vanished, reappearing behind the man to deliver a devastating cross-slash. The masked man froze, feeling his life force drain away. His pupils contracted in pure, unadulterated shock. How is this possible? The villain collapsed, and just like that, Beck Wuhian secured the triple kill. The livestream audience was losing it. This is insane. I literally didn't even dare to breathe. I'm on my knees. Young Neon stood there, paralyzed. He'd just watched one guy dismantle a 3-on-1 professional hunt. Chaos Cheel was flushing red with pure excitement. The chat exploded into a massive discussion. This power gap is hopeless. But for a first mission? This difficulty level is just plain ridiculous. My jaw's on the floor. Beck Wuhian checked his wound, knowing he only won through calculated sneak attacks. Compared to that other world, he felt he was still far too weak and lacking. He grabbed the phone off a corpse and found a hidden message waiting inside. Li Ujin and the target are heading to the reversed world. Capture them alive if possible. If not, you are authorized to terminate them both on the spot. So Li Ujin was only in danger because of him. Let's see what else he found. No more clues, just that one message. He was definitely disappointed. The Bureau could handle the follow-up investigation. But he did score some loot. A sharp returning dagger. Its first effect? A slight boost to the blade's overall cutting power. Once thrown, it returns to the owner's hand instantly. Note that this effect only works in player versus environment modes. Next was the Victor's bracelet. It buffs skill power and slashes cooldown times for his abilities. Third was the Hidden One's necklace, granting him access to a special shadow storage space. He can swap equipment in and out anytime. Again, this is only available in standard combat. Beck Wuhian never expected to see item descriptions like this. It really felt like he was in a game. He'd have to test everything. For now, at least the immediate crisis was suppressed. Time was running out. He had to clear the planet before Li Ujin's injuries got worse. Nearby, Li Ujin was losing hope. She'd run into a leader-class monster, the terrifying Emperor Scorpion. Her luck was officially beyond saving. But in a way, it was almost fortunate. At least it found her instead of the rookie. Suddenly, the Emperor Scorpion lunged forward to attack. Just one of its massive pincers was larger than her entire body. She wouldn't just die here. She forced her ability to activate for one last stand. She'd worry about the consequences later. But before she could move, the beast slammed into the ground with a boom. Li Ujin was stunned. What just happened? The Emperor Scorpion was suddenly stone dead. Then Beck Wuhian's voice called out, "Are you okay?" He stood there, one sword over his shoulder and his foot planted on another blade buried deep in the Scorpion's neck. He looked so legendary that Li Ujin just stared blankly. Even the viewers didn't expect him to be this fierce. And that's where we leave it. He wiped the mobs and soloed the boss. You and I definitely need to see what's next. All right. You and I are diving into a world literally cracking apart as the reverse dimension closes. Beck Wuhian jumps down right in front of Li Ujin. He tells her she did an incredible job taking down those hounds alone, but they really do not have time to talk. They need to get out fast. Beck Wuhian offers to carry her, and Yongnian already knows the reason why. Since they finished the sweep after the passage collapsed, the world has started shutting down way earlier than expected. Li Ujin feels a bit embarrassed, but she lets him carry her anyway. She is completely drained and cannot even move. Chaos Cheel adds his own judgment to the situation. He warns them they have to rush out before they get pulled in. Beck Wuhian tells Li Ujin to just hold on tight. The two of them reach the portal quickly. A system prompt pops up, sweep complete, and one ability point earned. Levels increase as several notifications hit at once. Now, Kim Chi steps in to start the questioning. He wants to know if those corporate awakened guys actually attacked and injured Li Ujin. Once it is confirmed, Kim Chi slams his forehead. Those corporate big shots have finally crossed the line. Now watch this. Kim Chi asks what happened to the guys, and Beck Wuhian simply says they are dead. Kim Chi is stunned. He asks how he did it alone, but then remembers their first meeting. Suddenly, it does not seem so impossible. He asks for any evidence, so Beck Wuhian hands over Chi Hayong Cheel's phone. This was their device. It shows messages proving they were ordered to attack, even if the rest of the data is locked away. Good. Because of this, the whole investigation is going to go a lot smoother. He tells them to go rest, but as Beck Wuhian gets up to leave, Kim Chi calls him back again. He admits he might be overstepping, but tells him he is definitely going to run into big opportunities later. Beck Wuhian does not quite get it. Kim Chi tells him he just needs to endure it for now. Wuhian does not even ask why. He just follows orders. The system pops up again, first field mission complete, and his level goes up. He gets an ability point and has to choose a second core element. Finally, that first mission is in the books. It felt way more like a blockbuster action movie than anyone expected. The viewers should be pretty satisfied with that, right? But check this out. Yongnian goes to check the stream feedback, and the second she looks, she completely freezes up. An anonymous viewer donated 3 million won. They send a message congratulating them on clearing the first checkpoint. Now, a special mission is being issued. Yongnian immediately forwards the info to Beck Wuhian and says she will send over the screenshot soon. Beck Wuhian looks at the 3 windows. Another special mission has appeared. So that is what the anonymous viewer meant earlier. They were waiting for the stream to finish before dropping the news. Beck Wuhian tells Yong9 to pick up the stream pace a little. Yong9 is totally on board with that plan. Chaos Cheel asks what is going on. Yong9 is confused too, since even he cannot see this private donation pop up. It is a private donation, so she decides to just ignore it for now and keep the stream moving forward. She brushes it off casually. The stream response is already looking incredibly strong. She suggests riding this momentum and switching to player versus player mode. Chaos Cheel thinks that is a perfect idea. In his last duel, Beck Wuhian had an insane win streak that actually started trending. So, what kind of player versus player are we doing today? The two of them keep the stream flow going smoothly. Today, the mode is conflict. Conflict mode includes escort, elimination, domination, and seizure. These 4 modes are picked at random in 5 versus 5 best-of-3 team battles. The viewers are not happy. They are asking what is up with conflict mode. Why not a duel? They want to see that win streak. They ask if he is avoiding it because he is afraid to lose. Yongnayan expected some pushback, but she is still breaking a sweat. It is definitely happening. Still, she believes his skills will shut them up. So, let the games begin. As soon as an escort match is found, Beck Wuhian's team is teleported to the truck as attackers. Chaos Cheel had no idea the first round would be an escort mission. The attackers have to push the payload to the end, while the defenders have to stop them. Even though this is his first 5 versus 5 team battle, everyone is looking forward to seeing what kind of plays Beck Wuhian will make. Round 1 officially starts. The vehicle rumbles to life and begins slowly moving down the path. The 5 players take their spots quickly. 2 hide in the truck bed, and 2 more take the front. Beck Wuhian stands at the very back, but then he suddenly stops and turns around. And that is where we leave it. You and I will have to see if this crazy move works. Alright, you and I are about to witness a masterclass in flanking, hitting the enemy from behind instead of a head-on clash. Standard play is fighting over the payload, but if your skill is high enough, a flank is absolutely lethal. Usually, one person can't stop 5 enemies alone. Beck Wuhian vaulted onto a rooftop. Some viewers actually believed he could pull this off. Since this is just a match for newbies, he should have no problem showing them who's boss. Others disagreed. How do we know the other team doesn't have Smurf accounts too? Beck Wuhian was closing in fast on the mini-map. That speed is insane. He's already about to run right into the defenders. With a blur of motion, he leaped into the air directly above the 5 defenders. He raised his dagger and hurled it down. The first unlucky player was dead before he could blink. Now watch this part. The dagger hits the neck perfectly, and the entire team just freezes in shock. One guy's jaw dropped so wide he could have swallowed an egg. A second later, he's face down. Beck Wuhian just opened with an instant double kill. With 2 teammates gone, the rest of the players were completely stunned. What just happened? Someone shouted to push the cart while he stalled, but they totally forgot about Beck Wuhian. The real Reaper was already here. Beck Wuhian calmly harvested the remaining 3, wiping the entire team. His teammates just stared at the screen, watching the kill feed refresh again and again. How is he doing this? The notifications won't stop. Just like that, they took the first round victory. The chat was losing it with laughter. These teammates' reactions are killing me. Honestly, I'd react the exact same way. Doing nothing and still winning? I'd thank him too. Yongnayan and the others were visibly shaken. I expected greatness, but it ended so fast that I actually feel a bit empty inside. Why is he rushing today? Maybe he's in a hurry. Chaos, Seongkil's gut feeling was actually spot on. Yongnayan kept it vague. Who knows? We still have 3 game modes left to watch. You and I both know what's next. Beck Wuhian lands a killing blow and wipes the floor with them. Next was domination, which turned into a bloodbath the second it started. The enemies panicked. 2 snipers on the roof tried using skills to block him, but it was useless. Beck Wuhian used his chain and dagger as footholds, literally running through the air. In just 2 jumps, he was in their faces. Before they could react, they were both bleeding out. Even in survival mode, he was unstoppable. Finally, in seizure, he captured the flag all by himself. With one final, overwhelming pentakill, he ended the entire match in an instant. Anonymous Viewer 62 sent another private donation of 3 million. Good work today. Now then, a special mission has been issued. Unlock the new system in Reverse Planet while playing. Yongnaan's heart jumped. Another 3 million? Wuhian, it happened again. Anonymous Viewer 62 just sent 3 million and a message. We could use this for a fan event, a group meal, or even just upgrade our gear. But Beck Wuhian didn't care about that, he only wanted the message. He looked at the screenshot Yongnaan sent. To unlock the new system, he had to keep playing without stopping, regardless of whether it was PvE or PvP. Beck Wuhian closed his eyes, clearly holding back some intense emotion. To draw out the person behind the scenes, he had to compromise. He decided to follow the donor's lead for now. Days later, he arrived at the training ground to film episode 3 of his big showcase. Beck Wuhian arrived at the combat training ground specifically run by the Otherworld Management Bureau. Shortly after arriving, he got a message from Lee Yu-jin. I'm injured, so I can't keep acting as your shooter for now. I found someone to fill in though. If you come over, I'll introduce you to her. Yongnaan muttered to herself, wondering who the replacement was. For a microcontrol master, the Bureau would likely send a high-ranking member. The viewers were already guessing names in the chat. Beck Wuhian noticed Lee Yu-jin was wrapped in bandages. Senior, are you feeling any better? I'm sorry to see you like this. I'm okay thanks to you, but someone else has to take over the shooter position today. She looked over. Perfect timing. Meet Kim Han-na. The stream instantly exploded. First Lee Yu-jin, now Kim Han-na. Trust me, you and I are about to see just how blessed this guy really is. Alright, You and I are about to see just how strong Kim Hana is, the Bureau's number 2. Beck Wuhian knows her well from their past lives. Back then, she was nothing but a total nightmare. Since you two are catching up, I am gonna head out first, Lujan said as she backed away. I actually snuck out, but you have a pass, right, Junior? Good luck with this. She vanishes instantly, leaving Kim Hana standing there looking like she is about to blow a gasket. Silence hangs in the air until Kim Hana recovers. I heard you are a swordsman. Tell me your style. Does he use a long or short sword? When he says both, her eyes narrow. She has to see his real level now. Let us have a quick spar. As soon as those words drop, Chaos Seong's face goes completely pale. Yongnan is confused, but Chaos Cheel is sweating bullets. This story is taking a very weird turn. Is a spar that strange? Normally it is fine, but with Kim Hana, nothing is ever actually normal. Chaos Shao grits his teeth. This crazy scenario is only happening because Beck Wuhian is the protagonist. Yongnan feels a chill. Even for an adaptive AI, this plotline is breaking every single boundary. But this situation is completely different. This game changes the entire story based on your actions, just like reality. You and I are watching them square off now. The pressure in the air is suffocating. Before the first strike, Kim Hana sets the ground rules. No abilities, only sword skills. Beck Wuhian shakes his head. That is literally impossible for him. His physical enhancement is a permanent passive. Kim Hana nods. Fine, I will use a bit of power too. Green energy flares around her. In a flash, she lunges forward, slashing directly at Beck Wuhian. After images trail behind Beck Wuhian as he draws his blade with speed that is almost impossible to follow. Boom! Their blades collide. Kim Hana slams her foot down and shifts her weight instantly. With a stunning spin, she blasts Beck Wuhian backward. Chaos's heart drops. Hana is on another level. Yongnan keeps the commentary going. Seeing Beck Wuhian falling into a disadvantage, Hana presses the attack. Chaos Cheel explains the truth. She is the actual model for that style. But Beck Wuhian is an absolute beast. He is actually matching her speed strike for strike right now. You and I can see his skill here. He's blocking a hurricane-like offensive with perfect precision. Kim Hana is stunned. He is not just fast, he is finding the exact angles to slice her openings. All right, I see how it is. I guess I will have to get a little more serious now. Her aura shifts instantly. It is like a wild beast has finally been let off its leash. Her wooden sword thrusts toward his face in a blinding flash. Her power erupts with enough force to pierce the air, sending massive rings of energy rippling through the entire hall. He dodges, but the training hall behind him is completely leveled. The building is just ruins now. The live stream chat is exploding. Everyone is shocked. Everyone is saying that if Beck Wuhian had his third core element, he might actually beat her in a fight. Kim Hana is impressed with his growth. Beck Wuhian bows and offers her his thanks. In a real fight, my win rate is under 20%. I still have a very long way to go. Who taught you to fight like that? Hana asks. Nobody. I am self-taught. That leaves her speechless. She stays silent for a moment before nodding. Good. Follow me. There is somewhere you need to see. A mission pop-up appears. Objective complete. Beck Wuhan's level starts skyrocketing multiple times in a row. They walk deep into the facility until they reach a massive room that looks like an armory. They have entered the Bureau's private vault, filled with legendary weapons. The higher-ups have decided that Beck Wuhian finally deserves a weapon that truly matches his overwhelming power. Kim Hyun-woo, the head of support, greets them with a bow. Welcome to the vault. Exactly, Hana says. There is no point in using basic gear when we have specialized weapons with powerful enchantments available. Kim Hyun-woo bows again. Take all the time you need. I will leave you to choose. Beck Wuhian scans the racks, but he isn't impressed. He is looking for something truly special. Suddenly he stops. Only one weapon stands out. The blood-sucking spear, Dragos. It increases cutting power. You and I will love what happens next. Alright, you and I are about to see a weapon that breaks the entire game. The second effect absorbs blood to restore stamina, and the third controls blood itself. He was ready to choose, but then his entire body jolted. It was Soul Eater, a surprisingly ordinary-looking two-handed sword. The soul-destroying sword, Soul Eater. First effect, it can never be broken. Second effect, its cutting power grows with every soul it devours. Current devour count is 0. Third effect restores stamina based on damage dealt. Fourth and fifth effects? Still completely sealed away. This thing only works in player versus environment content. Beck Wuhian was baffled. This sword was supposed to be on the black market. So why was it here? Unless the Bureau owned it first and sold it off in secret. That was the only logical answer. He never expected to reunite with the old companion that fought beside him in that world. Kim Hana looked surprised. You are really picking that one? That massive two-handed sword? She gave a small smile. Interesting. She agreed to go and handle the transfer of ownership. Beck Wuhian gripped the blade and could not let go. Meanwhile, Yongnan stood there completely stunned by the choice. Stick with me, because this weapon reveal just broke the rules. Usually, only rank 2 equipment appears now. Viewers were losing it over a rank 5 weapon showing up so early. Every single stat is randomized, yet somehow, every single one of them is top tier. When I checked the armory, there was nothing like this. Suddenly, a viewer donated 1001 with a message. If those seals ever unlock, that blade is going to be endgame gear. Chaos Cheel was already getting used to this. Honestly, this was not even the first time Beck Wuhian had pulled gear way ahead of the curve. That hidden necklace from the last sweep was also something that should have appeared much later in the story. Once he pointed that out, the viewers finally realized it. You know, he is actually right. We were so focused on the hidden story that we totally forgot the equipment. Who cares about drops when you are fighting hounds? The risk and reward system of Reverse Planet is simple. The higher the difficulty, the more insane the rewards. Since he wiped out those hounds on his first try, he earned that hidden necklace. From escaping the laboratory to his sparring match with Kim Hannah, every single move he made was high difficulty and executed to absolute perfection. Exactly. He just bulldozed his way through every challenge. You and I can bet that Soul Eater is just the system reward for his skill. It makes sense, but it is still just a guess. Let's keep watching. Once the paperwork was done, Beck Wuhian gave her his sincere thanks. With that new blade in hand, Kim Hannah's eyes sparkled. She suggested a quick sweep to get some practice in. Like a true battle maniac, she led him straight to a massive mountain range. Neither expected a portal at the very peak. This warm-up was getting brutal. The guard soldier definitely was not lying. He said the portal was just ahead, but nobody expected that meant climbing all the way to the mountaintop. The guy literally said it was only a tiny bit farther. Regardless, this was wolf territory, small-scale invaders with a relatively low danger rating for hunters. Wolves are pack hunters, Kim Hannah warned. They are territorial, so expect a massive swarm to come rushing in soon. Beck Wuhian closed his eyes. Beasts are more annoying than insects, but below rank B, they are all the same. This saves me the trouble of hunting elsewhere. Kim Hannah stayed back, promising not to interfere unless things got deadly. She just stood there watching, even telling Beck Wuhian to show her what he could really do. He summoned Soul Eater from his shadow storage. Suddenly, a chorus of wolf howls echoed from deep within the forest. He knew they were coming. Instantly, he entered his perfect existence mode. The pack charged forward with pure killing intent. Beck Wuhian dropped into a drawing stance, then swung the massive sword the instant they entered range. His first strike was at full power. Soul Eater carved a glowing arc of light through the air. Blood sprayed everywhere as the wolves were cut down. Suddenly, a line of crimson lit up the blade, surging with stolen power. Yong Neon's jaw dropped. He is swinging that massive great sword as if it weighs absolutely nothing. For some reason, watching this made Chaos Cheel feel his eyes grow hot with excitement. Right then, Chaos Cheel 1 donated 50,001. He said this level of microcontrol is just plain insane. The feel of this blade was on a completely different level. Kim Hannah was shaken by that one strike. The Heavenly Moonslash? You and I can see her gaze is finally turning serious. Alright, you and I are watching him slowly vanish.